Hey guys, welcome back to my half-baked tractor project. I'm restoring this fire damaged tractor that I purchased. Here's a quick before video when I got it to my place. This is what it looked like. Today we're finally at the point where we are going to be reassembling, and all the hard work I've been putting into it so far will start to pay off. Unfortunately, I won't be able to reassemble this tractor completely in this video. I have several parts that I'm waiting on that are holding up the process. I should have those ready for the next video, but I'll have this pretty much assembled, and in the next video I'll attach a few parts that I'm missing, put on all the stickers and the warning decals that need to be on this tractor, do a final servicing, replace the oils, the hydraulic and the engine oil, all the filters, and then finally do the first test run and see how this tractor turned out. So stay tuned for that upcoming video because we're getting really close to the finish line. Now let's get back to the rebuild. While I was taking this apart, I was very careful to label all of the bolts, everything that I needed to put back together, but it is a lot to remember, so if I ran into any trouble, I used this diagram here. It has all of the parts that I actually needed to order, so I used this to order all the parts, but then also if I got stumped trying to put anything together, I just referred back to those diagrams, and those were very helpful to figure out exactly how this all needed to go back together. And a lot of pieces on this were completely melted off, so I relied on those diagrams to show me what was supposed to be here. All of the plastic components that were just missing, I was able to figure out what I needed to order and how to put it back together. While I'm assembling this, I just freshly painted this a week or two ago, so I'm gonna be careful as I'm putting this together. I don't want to scratch anything and mess up the brand new paint job, but I'm gonna focus on getting all of the gray pieces on first, then I can start attaching some of the orange body panels. The front grille, while I peeled off the tape and saw the brand new paint, the black grille looked really faded and needed a paint job as well, so I'm gonna tape that off really quick, spray that, let it dry, and come back in a little bit to put it back on the tractor. The left step is the first of the orange panels to go onto the tractor. It's looking really nice. The right step, I painted it in place, never took that one off. This one's a lot easier to take off, so I'll just reattach that real quick. And then there's one switch that I need to remove and replace. The plastic on it had melted off, and this is one of the position sensors. This is one of the safety position sensors that if it's not in neutral, it won't allow the engine to start. So I'll replace that real quick and then move on to the next step in the assembly. Now's a good time to reposition the wiring harness where it needs to go before it's completely covered up. But I'm guessing a little bit here because I didn't see the original wiring harness in here before it got completely baked. All of the tape and insulation was baked off. It was just exposed copper wires. I remade this wiring harness from scratch based off of what the old one was and where the wires were running. So I'm going to do my best to line everything up and attach it where it needs to go. And if I need to adjust it as I put everything together, I can definitely do that. Then I'll attach the seat mount. This one's a little bit more complicated because it had a backhoe on the back, so this seat can actually spin 180 degrees around to the other side and then come back to the front. So I'll reassemble all of that, but I don't have the seat yet, so I won't be attaching that. I'll move on to the fenders next, and this is where a lot of improvement is starting to come together. On these fenders, the paint was completely baked off from the heat and they were starting to rust. They looked really rough, so it's really cool to see a nice orange paint job on these fenders. Because of the fire and all of the wires on the back were just shorted out because it was exposed copper on all of them, several of these fuses burnt out. And when I purchased this, I asked if the tractor turned over at all, and he said it won't start, but he tried it and it did turn over. So probably in that process of trying to start it, it burnt out some of those fuses. Now I'll start putting together the front end of the tractor. These side panels have vents on them I need to reattach after painting. This one actually faced the fire, so the plastic melted on it. So I'll replace that, put the rubber grommets on and a piece of rubber trim, then I can attach it back to the tractor. Then I'll move on to attaching some of the plastic pieces on the back half of the tractor. This is all stuff that is brand new. I haven't seen it on this tractor, so I'm using those diagrams again to make sure I get it exactly right. A lot of the hardware that holds this in place has been lost because it just fell off of the tractor into the dirt below it. So I'll need to replace all of that missing hardware. Unfortunately, these two computers here, a flasher and the computer for the engine, got damaged by the heat. I don't trust them, and they look like they'll end up either shorting out or damaging some fuses, so I'm just going to swap them out real quick and move on to the next thing. After placing a new mat down on the floor and a cover under the seat, I'll move on to the center console, the instrument panel of the tractor. All of this was completely melted, so everything's going to be new. I got to break off some of the plastic to expose the nut to remove the steering wheel. Once that's off, I can start putting on all the new stuff. Next, I'll move on to installing the lights on the back of the tractor and making all of the connections on the wiring harness that I made. And because I don't have all of the Kubota connectors, I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the connectors on the lights and install some generic plugs that I can easily unplug and work on the lights if I need to at a later time. I labeled all of these wires so I can match them up with the correct light, but it was difficult to tell which was positive and which was ground while I was making those connections. So I'm going to use a meter and just test it and make sure that I'm getting 12 volts through the line that's going to be the positive. The one that doesn't get any volts through, that's the ground. Alright guys, after installing a few more lever covers, that will just about finish up the video for today. Hope you enjoyed this one. I've got a lot more work to do on the reassembly and finishing this up in the next video. That will be the final video, starting it up, testing it out. I've got these seat belts here. I missed these brackets. They need to be painted gray. I'll be installing the seat and the rest of the missing parts in the next video. All of the Kubota decals that I've removed or have been burnt off of the tractor, and then all of the safety diagrams and warnings that need to go on this tractor as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you guys what this looks like when it's all finished in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.